Oh, darn, it's one of those darn monkey childs. In fact, it's the worst one. Hey guys, DB Right here, and welcome to the next installment of What If Fasha had a child, had a daughter, part 7. But first, a quick word from our sponsor, including customized models and painted models. Now, if you can't afford the STL files, but still wish to give your support, don't fret, for you can donate as little as 50 cents by clicking the donate button to keep the Hyperprint site going and its content going. And now that we're done with that, let's get on to the video. Carrying on where we last left off, Kakarot and Bashe, or Bashe if you prefer, have gone their separate ways for their training for the 22nd Tenkaichi Budokai. Now, for Kakarot, his 3-year journey is exactly the same as the original anime, including his brief run-in with Tien Shinhan and Chaozu. However, Bashe has taken another route, and has a completely different 3-year journey to what Kakarot had. A 3-year adventure that's all her own. And well, at first she was running into wild animals and using them as her opponents, and running into ferocious beastmen trying to eat her, and dinosaurs. Child's play for the daughter of Fasha. And well, eventually, she finds herself back towards a certain landscape she had visited before in the past, in fact the beginning of this series, and that is Fire Mountain, home of the Ox King, and she decides to pop in on the giant ox, just for a bit of a visit, maybe talk the Great Ox King into having a training session with her. That will go miles for a training, she thinks. However, she's not the only one visiting the Ox King. Why? Grandpa Gohan is also visiting his old friend the Ox King. Grandpa, what brings you here? Oh dearie, I felt like stretching my legs and paying my old friend a visit. Chi-Chi is there too, of course. And, well, she can't help but ask Bashe all about, what's Kakarot up to? Because, as we know, Chi-Chi is clearly smitten with him, just like she is in the original. Of course, Bashe can't answer that question because Kakarot is nowhere to be found and off having his own journey somewhere. Now, the only thing Bashe has on her mind at the moment is the rare opportunity that this actually presents her. The Ox King and Grandpa Gohan together. She could spar with both of them. Yes, that would be the go. That would make her day, in fact. Sparring against the Ox King and Gohan together. Oh yes, this will benefit her training greatly. And, well, as it turns out, it's a pretty good matchup. However, Bashe is ultimately bested against the two masters, who fight perfectly in sync. I don't understand it. I'm a lot stronger than the two of you. Oh my dear Bashe, I've been trying to tell you for years. It's not always the strongest who wins. Even two weaklings can topple a giant if they work together. Experience and skill defeats raw strength every time, kiddo. Now Bashe is off pouting somewhere. She often does whenever she loses a fight, especially to Grandpa Gohan. And, well, After having a little bit of time to reflect and actually learn these lessons, well, let's just say she then notices something very unusual happening at the village of Fire Mountain, where the Ox King lives. She notices this man sleeking around the Ox King's village. Looks like he's up to no good. So Bashe decides to follow this man, and there she saw this man meeting with 3 certain individuals she was very familiar with: Pilaf, Mai, and Shu, or Shao, however that's pronounced. Anyway, Bashe begins to trail after them, and Chi-Chi notices this and begins trailing after Bashe, eventually catching up. And Bashe is telling Chi-Chi to go home immediately and get Grandpa Gohan and the Ox King. And, well, the Pilaf gang, along with their mysterious guide, suddenly stop as Bashe tries to get in closer to overhear.
So, this is where the ancient master was sealed away.
Sorry, I got that wrong.
So this is where the ancient master sealed away King Piccolo.
Indeed, Emperor Pilaf. I heard it from the locals that nearly a centuries ago, the ancient Master Mutaito had sealed away our Lord and Master King Piccolo. Now, fortunately, this guide hadn't led them any further. As Bashe springs into action, the guide turned out to be just a random person who had heard legends of King Piccolo and became a King Piccolo worshipper, even wearing the signature devil insignia on his shirt. And he was a skilled fighter in his own right. He wanted to help Pilaf release King Piccolo so he could serve King Piccolo. Only reason he was sort of helping him. I know this probably... We never got to see how Pilaf freed King Piccolo, so I thought this would be cool to add as for Bashe's adventure in this story. Let me know what you think in the comments. Anyway, back to the action. Anyway, he's quickly beaten by the Saiyan, and Pilaf, Shu, and Mai get in their robot suits and try to destroy Bashe. Now, these models were a step up since the last time they tried this, and it would actually seem that the Pilaf gang would finally be rid of their, well, at least one of their monkey problems once and for all. However, this is when Grandpa Gohan and the Ox King show up and join the fight, and after hearing the name King Piccolo, you can imagine that Grandpa Gohan and the Ox King meant business. After all, they are descended pupils of Mutaito, and they shall honor their class, along with Bashe, as they team up to stop and prevent the release of King Piccolo, as they defeat Pilaf and all his lackeys, including the man who led him there in the first place. This basically meant that, thanks to Bashe, King Piccolo won't be unleashed in this timeline, which means essentially Bashe just unknowingly prevented Krillin's death and saved the world. The result? Not a single casualty. Okay, well, you gotta give her a clap. That's definitely better than Goku. But we'll have to chalk that one up to awareness and prevention. And preemptive strike. Alright, so after her time with the Ox King and Grandpa Gohan was up, she continued her journey and eventually ended up back in Sano's village, where she visited Sano and also Android number 8. She was kind of hoping to convince Android number 8 to fight her and help her with her training. However, since Android number 8 is the gentle soul he won't do it. However, he decided to reprogram and rebuild Major Metallotron for Bashe to spar with. And needless to say, it led to some pretty exciting matches and days. It was Bashe was definitely beginning to see the results of her training and was able to put the lessons she learned from Grandpa Gohan and the Ox King to good use, as she was starting to learn how to outsmart Major Metallotron and pretty much any other opponent she came up against within the next few years of her journey. And the remainder of her 3-year journey was spent in South City, and she was essentially staying with Bulma for the remainder of the time, because there was only about a couple of months till the World Martial Arts Tournament anyway. She feels well enough prepared, and and she can travel with the others to the World Martial Arts Tournament. And, well, essentially, they arrive there easily, no problem. However, as we know, just like in the original, Kakarot is running late because he decided to swim across the other side of the world to get to the tournament. Because, he missed his plane, and Roshi had forgotten to tell him that he could use the Flying Nimbus when it came to, showing up for the tournament on time. But nevertheless, he is there, and Bashe cannot help but feel impressed by Kakarot's achievement. Swimming halfway across the planet? That's pretty good. Although, as a Saiyan, and thanks to Bashe being there in early childhood, he could have flown. But Roshi did say no using the Nimbus, so Kakarot interpreted that as no flying at all, except for the plane. And well, so they arrived, they are all signed up and ready to go for the tournament, and this is where we're going to be leaving things for the moment. So, I hope you enjoyed this part of the story. Did we enjoy this little Bashe, the daughter of Fasha's solo adventures here, and how we sort of tied in the potential for release for King Piccolo in this sort of story? So, well, all this and more next time as we continue the story. What's going to happen now that there's probably not going to be a King Piccolo arc? Anyways, leave your thoughts in the comments. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I will see you all again later.